You're listening to the Industrial Commissioning Association podcast, where we discuss best practices for industrial plant process and energy system commissioning. Get ready to say no to outdated industry norms and say yes to improved project performance. Here's your host, Paul Turner.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to discuss Manifesto of Commissioning First Leadership. This is what the Industrial Commissioning Association stands for. All right, let me share my slides here. There we go. All right, so just to be clear, this isn't a technical presentation. This is a call for leadership. This is a shift in how capital projects are led and who's actually leading them so that we can achieve successful outcomes on projects and not just focus on the activities. So if you haven't already, join the Industrial Commissioning Association. You can do that at icxa.net/join. You can get access to all of our commissioning standards and many other specialized resources to help you with commissioning. And as I go through the presentation, if you have any questions, leave your comments below, and I'll be sure to address all of your comments. So this is the Commissioning First Leadership Manifesto. This is what we stand for at the Industrial Commissioning Association. And this is what we believe. We believe in commissioning first leadership, that projects must start with the end in mind. All projects need a clear vision of what success looks like during commissioning right from the start if they're going to have any chance of achieving that outcome on projects. Now, I've been involved in lots of projects, and some projects have worked well and some have been an absolute disaster. And the one thing that's been common is the strong leadership or the lack of leadership on projects. And it takes a strong commissioning leader to lead projects to success. And that leadership must exist right from the beginning for projects to be successful. Some of the projects I've been on have had missing equipment, missing documents, untested systems, and lots of finger pointing everywhere, right? And that's only the result when there's no strong commissioning leadership to lead integration and the outcome of the projects. So this is how we approach projects, is we approach with a commissioning first leadership approach. And that's why we've created the ICA Global Commissioning Standard, to give commissioning professionals the blueprint for how to lead projects and not react to problems on projects. So today I want to show you how to use the commissioning standard to take control from day one, reduce risk on your projects, and lead your next project to commissioning success for stable, successful, and a smooth handover to operations without all the scramble that we're normally used to on projects. Because it's a domino effect, right? Projects don't fail at the end, they fail at the start. And if the dominoes start to tip over at the beginning of your project, then the end, everything just comes crumbling apart, right? It's like running a marathon. You wouldn't start running a marathon without knowing where the finish line was. You'd be running around in circles for everywhere. And we've all seen it. We've been on projects where commissioning just becomes chaos at the end, right? But it didn't start there. It didn't start with commissioning chaos. It started much earlier in projects when commissioning was treated like an afterthought rather than the leadership discipline that it is. So at the Commissioning Association, we reject that commissioning starts after construction. And it's not your fault. This has been a common misconception on projects forever. You were handed a broken playbook. Now we need a new approach and we need new leadership on projects to lead projects to success. We don't need more activity managers. We don't need more project managers. We don't need people managing the WBS. We need more project leaders. We need leaders that are focused on outcomes and not just the activities. So The old belief was that commissioning is just testing. That's very ingrained in the industry. If you ask 10 people on projects, 9 of them will tell you that commissioning is just testing at the end, right? And that it's just testing once construction is complete, then you test a bunch of systems. And that mindset is why so many projects break down when they should be ramping up instead. There's lots of good people working on projects, and all of these good people, they have the best intentions, but they've been working and they're trapped in a broken system. They've done the best that they can, and they're doing the best that they know, but you don't need to reinvent the wheel every project on how to follow a proven framework for successful commissioning. Now there's finally a standard in the industry that you can follow that defines how commissioning should be structured right from the beginning of projects. And commissioning first isn't a trend, it's the way that winning teams are successfully delivering projects now. Because we know commissioning isn't testing, it's leadership. And if you're not leading commissioning, then you're not leading your project. And if you're not leading your project, we know how that ends at the end of the project when it's complete chaos. So we reject this old way. We do not believe that commissioning is just testing at the end. Commissioning is about leadership. Commissioning is not just a checklist that you complete on your projects. And all the finger pointing indicating that it's someone else's job, that's just a symptom of weak leadership where there's no strong commissioning leader at the beginning of your projects. Our belief is that commissioning is not a task, it's a leadership function. And an important commissioning first leader is required to be that guiding light to guide projects to success in the end. So this can be at the beginning of your projects. This can be the project commissioner, the overarching individual that's responsible to deliver this project, project managers, project sponsors, project executives, commissioning managers. These are all examples of commissioning first leaders. And this one idea changes everything on projects. Commissioning isn't something you do after the fact and do testing at the end. It's how you lead your projects from the beginning. Like I said, that beacon, that guiding light to guide projects to a successful finish. What we do instead is we have a commissioning first leadership approach that starts on day one. Commissioning is embedded into design, it's integrated into every aspect of the project lifecycle to focus on the outcome of projects. It's that strong leadership right from the beginning that guides the team and calls the plays, just like the quarterback on the team. Quarterback is guiding the team, calling the plays, executing and guiding the team to a successful and a win at the end, right? When we lead with commissioning first, we don't scramble to catch up along the way or at the end. We build towards a stable, on time finish right from the start. And that gets the team across the finish line to win at the end every time when you have that strong leader focused on outcomes. We are strategic integrators. We're not the technicians. We're not doing the energizing of equipment. We energize the entire delivery ecosystem for successful delivery of projects. We're the conductor overseeing all instruments and making sure that every instrument is in tune, that all project groups are contributing their best for a successful outcome. We make sure that all instruments are playing in harmony and that everyone is working as one team. And this is a challenge, which is why you need a strong commissioning leader to lead projects to successful outcomes. We're not just checking breakers and pumps. We're leading the handover. We're aligning vendors. We're coordinating construction, operations, and engineering so that everything comes together with harmony at the end of the project. We are the strategic leaders that see the big picture. With commissioning first leadership, commissioning is integrated into all aspects of the project, starting right at the beginning with your project governance. Your project governance structure in how the project steering committees and oversight groups are managing the project, commissioning is embedded right into those functions. into the design phase, into all aspects of procurement, all aspects of construction for systems-based completions, and everything that's required for startup and performance verification. This is commissioning first leadership to pull all of these aspects together for a successful finish in the end. And it starts with a strong leader that starts with the end in mind right at the beginning of projects, because commissioning touches everything. And when it's embedded in every phase of your project, you reduce risk, you prevent failure, and you're able to finish projects with confidence. This is the role of commissioning first leadership. Commissioning is your first line of defense to protect against problems on your projects and protect your project outcome. Commissioning first leadership is the voice of system integration for a successful completion of systems, not just tasks. We are the owner of project readiness to place assets in service and deliver on the project outcome. We are the strategic oversight that, while others are just focused on their slice of the pie, we're focused on the whole project altogether. When everyone is protecting their piece of the scope, the commissioning leader protects the whole system, and this is leadership under pressure. And it matters more than ever. Projects need strong leaders to lead project teams to success. And this is what commissioning first leadership is leading projects to successful outcomes. Our commitment is we build projects that are set up for success right from the start. Projects that are designed for maximum value and seamless integration at the end. That's the goal right from the beginning of projects, so that we can deliver assets that are more reliable in operation, more affordable, sustainable, and more profitable in the long run. And this isn't just idealism. This isn't just a pie in the sky idea. This is what happens when commissioning first leadership is in place. I've been part of projects. I've led projects. This is what happens with a commissioning first leadership approach. This is how you finish projects, which is the most important part of projects, isn't it? Actually finishing them. And this is what commissioning first leadership is. So this is the tipping point. Commissioning isn't just a checkbox. It's the moment where everything comes together on projects with a commissioning first leadership approach. And this is what this is the final pressure test. It's where all of the planning that was done earlier, all of the systems, all the planning and the people finally prove themselves in one integrated operation on the projects to deliver successful outcomes. So this isn't just my belief either. This is a movement. This is a group of people that are frustrated with projects and know that there's a better way. This is for people that are begging for better leadership on projects. This is for people that want a strong commissioning first approach to lead projects to success. So I encourage you to join the movement. If you believe what we believe, then you belong part of the Industrial Commissioning Association. And I encourage you to sign up and join this movement for people who want to do things better, smarter, and with integrity the first time. And if that's you, then I invite you to join the Industrial Commissioning Association and join this movement for better project performance. And you can do that at icxa.net/join. Become a member. You can join this movement. You can access to all the standards, specialized resources, and everything to help you take a commissioning first leadership approach on your projects. And for others that might be struggling with this on your projects, sign them up for training. Get them to enroll in our commissioning course leadership programs to show not only yourself, but others, everyone working on projects, what does commissioning first leadership look like and how are we going to lead projects to success? We've got course modules that help everybody working on projects understand what a commissioning first leadership approach looks like so that everybody can be working towards a successful outcome and be able to lead projects with confidence. And you can check that out at icxa.net/courses. So these are the links that we talked about here. Check out our courses, icxa.net/courses. Join this movement. Join the Industrial Commissioning Association at icxa.net/join. And you can download a copy of this manifesto at icxa.net/manifesto, where you can see what we believe at the Industrial Commissioning Association for a commissioning first leadership approach on your projects. All right, if there's any questions, let me know in the chat. I'll go back up to the top here and see what we've got. The project commissioner is effectively the team's head coach. That's absolutely right. Always right, Peter. And that's what projects are begging for, is projects need strong leaders. Projects need leadership, right? When everybody's scattered and doing their own thing, of course, projects aren't going to end successfully. But when we have strong leadership with a commissioning first leadership approach, that's the head coach and that's the individual that's going to lead projects to success. And it's not just our projects that we're working on. Everywhere you look in the world is begging for leadership, right? In politics, in the news headlines that you read, everywhere you look, the companies that you work for, everybody needs strong leadership, and projects are no different, right? We need project leaders that can lead projects to successful outcomes, not just focused on the activities of projects, but the actual end goal outcome of projects, which is to deliver successful projects that can be used for decades of reliable operation. So this is the commissioning first leadership approach that needs to be taken on projects. I love the voice of the system integration. It's brilliant. Absolutely. And that's what's required, is the individual to guide projects to success for successful integration. When we focus just too much on the activities, if we're focused too much on, say, construction, then that's certainly a very important activity that we need on projects, but it's not the end goal. It's not the outcome, right? We need an integrated system that functions reliably. And that's commissioning. Commissioning must be the focus right at the beginning of projects, with a commissioning first leadership approach if we're going to deliver successful projects. Great presentation. Appreciate it. Yep. So this is the strong message that the Industrial Commissioning Association is about. It's about commissioning first leadership that is so badly needed on projects to lead projects to success. And that's what we're doing at the Industrial Commissioning Association, is we're creating the next generation of commissioning leaders that are able to lead projects to success. So if you believe what we believe, that projects need stronger leadership, then join us at the Industrial Commissioning Association, get involved, become a member, download all the resources, and you can apply a commissioning first leadership approach to commissioning on your projects as well, so that you can deliver success. All right. Thanks for joining, everyone. Appreciate your comments, and we'll see you again next week for our next live presentation. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening. To become a member of the Industrial Commissioning Association, visit icxa.net. Members get access to commissioning standards, procurement specifications, commissioning training and certification, plus many more specialized resources to help you with commissioning of your industrial plant process and energy systems. Visit icxa.net for more information.